Hello, good afternoon. Hope you're all well. A little bit later than normal getting started. Just going to go through all of our usual checks as well. And then just to start off, I will explain what we're doing here. And how it came about. Just going to go. Yeah, that's all working. Yeah, apologies for the delay. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a regular thing where perhaps the live stream starts just a little bit later. It's good news, really, because the workshop is starting to get a little bit busier. Excuse me, and so we're starting to see a few more people, and then what happens? You get chatting, explaining what you're doing. And it's nice sharing the tradition. Oh! Ah, yes, good question. What is that? Right. Yeah, let's get straight into that. Enough talk about the what's happened in the workshop. What is this? Okay. The background. I was invited. I sent an invite from YouTube Shorts in the UK. I've been doing a few shorts, as you probably all know. It's another way that we sort of see for sharing what we do and encouraging people to have a go at making their own projects out of wood. And as a result, I went. They arranged a seminar, and it's all done online now. So I thought, okay, I'll have a look, see what happens, see if it's of interest, and. After the seminar, I basically carried on working through it all because might as well. Hello there, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Hello to the carver as well. Thanks for joining us. Right, this one then, see, that's Thomas the woodcarver in the background. He's just going to sort out the skylight because the light is coming through because it's a bit later. But what happened? I had an email from Ellie. And she runs a YouTube channel called Got to Eat Pizza here in Wales. You may have noticed the light has just changed. That's because Thomas the woodcarver is sorting it all out. So it's her channel, and she sent me an email, and what it was, she bought a few of our Lovespoons, and she was using them in the background of some of her videos. And I thought, it's interesting. I thought, if you're using that, what if we made the logo?
Is that really good?
Yeah, that's great. Brilliant. Thanks for that bit. So just a little bit there, but don't worry about it too much. That should be all right, as long as it is getting a little bit on there. Just that one little block just to the side. There. That's all. Yeah, that's it. So I thought, it would be a bit of fun to demonstrate making Ellie's logo, which is a slice of pizza on like a plate. And then this one here, which is the words of her channel, Got to Eat Pizza. The one thing I haven't come up with in terms of a design, I want to put these on a background. And I haven't come up with the background yet. But we'll have a little look. And we'll see if we can come up with some sort of idea. That's pretty good now in terms of the light. I'll just check it. Yeah, I think we're okay there. So we get straight into it. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out our slice of pizza. I've stacked two layers together because my thinking is I'm going to carve the lighter coloured oak, which is the bottom layer, and then I'm just going to cut the surround and then carve all of these lines in. And then we're going to demonstrate cutting out text and doing some pierce work and things like that. The text then, what I've tried to do, famous last words probably, but what I've tried to do is to make it big enough so it's not going to go and break too easily on me. But as I said, probably famous last words and something might happen, but hopefully not. Hoping everything's all right there because the computer just made a funny noise. A light dark wood combination should be the key to it all. Yes, spot on. The other thing then, to get a little bit more colour into it, I got some juniper, or I know what you call in the US as, is it fragrant cedar? I always forget what you refer to it as. And so that is going to be what we're going to cut out. So we get straight into it and start cutting out these ones here. And there's a few different things I was going to talk about actually in terms of what we're doing on the channel and where we're going and our different ideas. Looking forward as well. I hope the carver, you'll have to let us know. Have you got a video upload this week? Any projects you're working on? Let us know. And as well for Chris, how's it getting on? Have you got your Hegner together? Have you managed to make anything on it yet? Let's get started. There you go, so that cuts out our, very quickly there, our slicer pizza. I'll keep the darker wood one so I can use that as a guide. On the original logo as well, there were lots of different colours and things like that. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that into this one. I did think originally, I did think about cutting out all the different components and that sort of thing, but I thought it was going to get a little bit too complicated, and I didn't have, to be honest, I didn't have a big enough piece of wood for that particular job. So I'm going to just carve the logo. Hopefully it'll be as effective. Let's have a look on there. Just cedar and Welsh Google. I've gone through one and I'm editing it, but it's not a masterpiece. That doesn't matter. That's good. We're looking forward to seeing your next upload. Yeah, it's always good seeing what the carver's making. Always good knowing what everybody's up to. As I said, if Chris is making that one as well, it's interesting as well. I've been enjoying seeing the pizza videos on Ellie's channel. Yeah, I'm starting to get inspired. I had pizza for dinner last night, which I've always made bread and things like that. So making a pizza base is a good crossover. I'm probably gonna have to invest now in a pizza oven. Okay, so straight away, when I finish this, I'll probably put it on the belt sander, just little bits like that where we've just come out of the cut. But what we'll have, see, is we'll have that contrast in the wood. So I thought oak would be a sort of pizza-y sort of base colour. So I'm fairly happy with that then. So we're going to carve on all the little bits of detail. And then I'll probably use some black super glue just to add a little bit of definition there. I just subscribed to Gotta Eat Pizza. Yeah, go on this. It's got some great recipes, all sorts of different ideas. You probably end up like me, where you want to buy a pizza oven. On that subject, see, I always we'll have to do recipe of the day in our live stream. We've done two different methods. We cook the pizzas in the oven. That's the one method we use. But we saw in Spain a program, and it was the way they prepare pizzas in Naples. And what they do, they actually they prepare the dough, and they actually cook the pizza in a frying pan. And we started doing it, and we do a recipe. Sounds very posh. Goat's cheese, like a salad, and caramelized onion. And we really enjoy it. So we use that method as well. But on Ellie's channel, she does a lot on pizza ovens, that sort of thing. Right, so same process as normal. I'm going to do the pierce work first of all. Another part with doing the pierce work first of all, I've got my Nikwa Speed reverse earth number 9 in there, and I'm going to try and judge whether I feel it's a bit too aggressive. If it is, I'm going to change to the Pebeco for doing in and around here, which I find is a little less aggressive. So that's the idea, is cutting this all out. And I'm going to try my best not to break the E and the T. Those are the main ones, or the Zs as well. So yeah, we'll have a look through. I seriously don't. She'd live it. Yeah, I doubt it too. That would be, and if they do, that'd be a bit far to go. But it's well worth a look on the channel, and some great ideas. Right, let's get cutting. Okay, so far I'm happy with the way that one is cutting. Seems to be cut in nicely. What's that one there? Chris, where are you, mate? No, I'm not. I agree. I think Chris has disappeared. Yeah, Chris, to give the background as well, has just recently bought a Hegner, second-hand Hegner, and by the look of it, needs a little bit of work on it, but great purchase by what I've seen. One thing I would say as well, when it comes to what's happening with our own machine, we've had a few problems this week on this one. With the blower, with the dust, the one that clears the dust, and I basically dismantled it all and had a look at the bellows. There was a lot of dust inside it, so I've cleared all of that up. I also as well, I turned the pipe the other way around, because what happens, it ends up building a little lip where it catches the wood, gets knocked back and things like that. Excuse me, so I've changed it all round. I've taped up as well a little bit where there's a metal piece joins that plastic tube. So I've basically gone over all of those different things just to sort it out. So we got 2 more pierce cuts to go, and then we're going to start doing all of that work in and around. Nice wood, I always find as well, this one for scroll sawing. And I'm going to cut, these 2 out, and then I'll stop again. And what I'll do, I'll explain a little bit about this course that I went to, and what my thoughts were on it, and for the channel as well, and the support we get. Here we are, that's all the pierce work sorted out, and now we're going to go on to cutting all of that surround. Yeah, just to explain a little bit, what happened, we got asked to go if we'd like to go on this Shorts Creators course. It was very interesting to listen. There was a gentleman talking about how he'd grown his channel and got it up to like 5 million subscribers and all this sort of thing. And I listened to the whole thing, and I sort of thought, how does any of this relate to us? And it just sort of got me thinking of what this channel is all about and what we sort of do. And it very much got me thinking that, what we try to do ourselves, all the sort of, I don't know, a lot of what was said I didn't think was relevant to us then, because the fundamental thing we try to do is to show how we make different things. And I try to take, as much as I can, a little bit of the mystery out of woodworking then, and to try and make it as accessible as we possibly can. So I'd be interested for some feedback on that, because that's what we try to do, is to be, as a family then, as a workshop, is to be very open about what we do and to share it, to try and encourage as many people to do the same. It's like with this one here, if I get a chance, I'll demonstrate that one. That's proving a really popular little item. I'm making a butterfly fridge magnet, and I did do a short on that one, and that one, you can see we cut it out and we got stack cut there, so you get those 3 for the one cut that you do. But it's good to do something like that occasionally, I guess, because it gets you thinking about what the channel is all about and what we're trying to do. And that's ultimately what we hope to do, is to make woodwork seem as accessible and as straightforward to get into and to enjoy as possible. So yeah, be interested to know your thoughts. Lucky then my Hegner was new and cost me my 5th child. Yeah, absolutely. It's an expensive bit of kit. The price, I gotta say, that Chris had on his Hegner was fantastic. Really good price. So fair play. That's the beauty of eBay. If you can get a second-hand one like that, and here in the UK, because Hegner UK is quite a good. I find them very good. I do recommend buying second-hand. So when it comes to cutting out a piece like this one here, some of the things, oh, hello there. Hello, Mr. or Mrs. Steele. Thanks for joining us. When it comes to cutting out a piece like this, these are the ones that I'm sort of most conscious of, are things like the T, where you go in by there. That's a little bit vulnerable for cutting out. And one of the ones you'll notice there that it just jumped, and that is where, yeah, you start thinking, right, okay, that would be something that when it jumps and comes back down, I'm cutting it cross grain, so that would be an area where potentially it could snap. So I think that it would be a sensible move at this stage to have a little look at the back of the scroll saw, have a little look around, and this one here, the nick was speed number 12. No, because that's an even more aggressive cut. This one here, Nickwa Pebeko. Right, let's change that blade over to the Pebeko, and it'll be slightly slower in terms of the feed speed, but it should give me a little bit more control, and it should be a little bit less aggressive. So again, it's a reverse tooth, so I make sure that we get those teeth that are going in the opposite direction. They go to the bottom of the blades, fit it back in. Another thing as well, you'll notice sometimes when I'm scroll sawing, I take this out. Sometimes I have it in. I find for different jobs, it's better or worse to have that plate in. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's continue cutting out the letters. Okay, so as I'm doing this, it's quite a delicate process, to be honest with you, and I do feel at any moment, well, for yourselves watching, there is a bit of jeopardy in this, because as I was doing the T, I can feel it. I don't know if you can see that. as I'm cutting these letters out, yeah, I'm right on the limit here. It's a case of they should have something like the Mission Impossible music or something going. No, it's not quite that bad, but it is quite delicate as you're going through the cutting process. So yeah, stay tuned. This could go wrong again. Wouldn't be the first time, probably won't be the last. Also as well, if you're looking at this and wondering, for anybody doing a similar project to this, where you're cutting out the letters, there's a way to make it a lot stronger. But I'm going to explain why I haven't done that. To make it a lot stronger, what you would do is you would encase it. Whilst I've got the stand at the bottom, you would come around the top and you'd have it over the top there. That would make it a lot stronger if it was secured at the top. Now, the reason I haven't done this is because I said to Ellie, oh yeah, we'll have a look at this. It's a bit of fun. It was something to share with everyone. It was also a nice way then to do something for sort of recording her channel, because she sent me an email. So I thought, yeah, great. We'll do something for that channel. And so if I had to put that piece across the top, it would be a lot stronger. But then all of the cuts are piercework cuts. So it's a lot longer to do all of those individual cuts. Probably when I do this, when I actually put it together as a plaque, I will put another piece on the top to give it that strength. But it's just to share with you the methods and the thought process. I've done it this way because it is quicker, a lot quicker. But if you want that extra strength, if you're asked to do something like this and you want to give it extra strength, that is the way to do it, is to have it solid above and below and in the sides, and it's protected. So these are all the things that we work out as we're making different things. Oh, hello there. Hola, Jaime. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Gracias para venir y buscar nuestra en directo. Y yo corta letras, es un, ¿cómo se llama? Es un logo de una chica, tiene un canal para presentar diferentes formas de pizza. Just to explain it, yeah, just trying to explain, doing my best in my Spanish to explain to Jaime as well what we're doing here and what we're presenting. So I'm going to continue cutting out. This has got a fair bit of jeopardy because we got these quite delicate E, the T. I'm happier with the A, a lot stronger. The P should be a fair bit stronger, but it's quite possible it'll be famous last words. Let's get cutting. Right, so we're over halfway there. We're well on our way on the scroll saw. One thing I always find with this Pebeco blade, really, it's an impressive blade, one that I've enjoyed working with. I do notice there's a little bit more of, a rough finish that you do get on the back edge. So whilst it's a reverse tooth blade, I do find I get a finer finish. Hopefully it'll show on this. Yeah, so I get a finer finish. That's the bottom layer, sorry, on the nick with speed. So that's one, there's sort of, same as all things, there's strengths and there are weaknesses of working with those two different blades. Just going to put that all together so I can see with that one there. Yeah, so we're just going to finish off this. So far, so good. You have noticed, where did I stop? On the T. Because it always, when those little blocks of wood, when they jump out, there's a little technique, again, that we can explain to you that might be useful. When I cut that block out there, it jumped out, and then I had to check, is everything okay with that? And as it was fine. One thing you could do is to cut that out in stages. So to say, cut it out in 3, then it makes it a little less vulnerable to breaking the T, which is what I was concerned it had done. It's one of those things where a lot of what I do, we're always up against time. Time is a big thing. So I tend to, how can I explain? Not rush things, but do it a little bit more quickly than is ideal. But there we are. We're going to try and finish off these letters, and then we'll cut the bottom. And then we can either do a bit of carving. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. What would you like to see? I can either do some carving on the pizza and continue with this project, or I can demonstrate cutting out our butterfly. Let me know in the comment section whichever you would prefer to see. And there we go. That's what we worried about. A little jump and boom, it breaks. Right. We've lost the I and we've lost one of the Z's. So, I think, where's the I gone? There it is. As part of the I, oh, no, it's not. We've lost our I. Right, so, it's my old nemesis, is cutting out letters. How many times has this happened to me, cutting out letters? But as I said, it's why I was saying about those techniques. We've got a block here. Now I'm thinking with this, it's down here. I got it, right. The perils of scroll sawing. Okay, I'm thinking that's quite a clean break there, and that's quite a clean break. And because I've gone cross grain, I'm thinking I'm going to glue that back. So I think we're going to get away with that, and we're going to glue it back on. Such is life. These things happen, and I'm going to glue that back together, and it'll be fine. So I'm going to continue cutting. I'm going to continue cutting there, and we're going to finish it off. Let us know what the preference is, the butterfly or to finish this project. Grab me some super glue.
Super glue.
And the accelerant. It's my nemesis. It's always, isn't it, cutting out text. Funny, isn't it? But it's such a delicate job. But in this case, I'm going to super glue it all back.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's not a paid.
Exactly, and it's
not a paid job, is it?
No, and apologies to Ellie for breaking her logo, but we'll stick it back together for you and sort it all out, because this project is going to be stuck together anyway. And also as well, it's exactly what I was explaining. If you were doing this job, if I was doing this job as a commercial job, then I'd already identified and I'd already explained to everyone where that vulnerability is. You would have had to have done it all. You'd have had to have put another piece across the top, and it would have all been pierce work, which is a lot more time consuming and a lot more challenging. But there we are. These things happen. As you can imagine, we don't worry about it too much. If it was a paid job, then fine, we'd be starting again.
We'd redesign it.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have designed it like this, but I looked at this job and I thought that's going to be such a time-consuming job to do that from.
And you might well choose a different piece of wood as well.
Yeah, possibly, but I think it's a nice. I wanted something nice and simple for scroll sawing.
Yeah.
But there we are. We'll stick it back together and we will get the job finished. These things happen. It's exactly. I was explaining the exact weakness that actually broke in the end. I knew because you.
To be fair, no, it was a deliberate mistake, wasn't it?
No, it was something. It was something I was well aware could happen, and that's why I explained it, and I could feel it. And do you know, what time are we here now in the UK? We're 5:30, so we're the end of the day, and the real confession is it was a lapse in concentration.
Yeah.
But we're at the end of the day. I've been carving all day. We're very lucky. We've been busier. We've had groups in. We've had things going on. We've had the plumber here. So all sorts happening. And simple lapse in concentration. As easy as that. How it can break. The other thing as well, to reduce the chances of something like that happening, you could use a finer blade.
I think what you could have done as well.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
To have glued it to a piece of, say, hardwood or.
Well, that's another thing you could have done. You could have put it on a backing board to give it extra strength.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you could have done, see, with that is to add the grain going in different directions to give it strength. So, but I didn't, and I broke it. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, we're going to take it across to the workbench. To be honest with you, because it's, as I said, because of I've used it cross grain. By the time that's been sanded down, you're probably not to that extent going to notice what has happened there. But it's good examples because these things happen, and you've just got to deal with it. And that is, a lot of it comes down to as well finding out, if you've got the temperament for woodworking, you have to deal with that. If that really affects you, if it really bothers you, stuff like that, then it's a difficult field to be involved with. But for ourselves, you know, things go wrong from time to time. You just got to get on with it and do something else. Okay, so I'll move across to the workbench and we'll have a look at carving this particular one out. So bear with me while I move across and refocus the camera. There we are. You'll see there's a bit of a mess on our workbench and there's plenty of projects that we are working on. As I said, it's a busier time, which is great. I've also managed to break my seat, so I'm going to have to bring the seat across with me as well. My old seat has been repaired many times, but unfortunately the screws keep breaking on it now, so there we are. Right, let's have a little look. We can move that down for you to all see. There's a little carving from the carver. Needs a bit of dusting, but a beautiful little carving that he gave us. And let's get just focused over here into the center like so. Excuse me. Now the first thing I'm going to be judging when I go to carve this, is that going to actually, yeah, that's fine. As long as we can get a grip on that, that's the main thing. So we got our little pizza wedge. And let's do a little bit of carving. So that's going in the vise just like so. Yeah, mistakes and things going wrong, it's all part and parcel of it. You just got to accept it and deal with it. That's a good thing as well in terms of being able to do the live stream. We can share that with you and show you, look, this is what happened, this is what went wrong, and this is how we deal with it. In that case, a little dab of super glue so we can actually get the project completed. Right, so we got a larger slice of what would probably be, what would it be, pepperoni, something like that. And so we're just, what we're going to start off by doing, see, we do all of the stop cuts. So do those stop cuts down into the wood. Another thing is always worth noting as well, when something happens like that, sometimes you'll actually get a natural flaw in the wood. Not in that case, it was user error, lack of concentration. But that happens as well, where you will have a little flaw in the wood, a natural void or something like that. That occasionally does happen to us. And there we are. Such is the nature of what we're doing. Right, so we're trying to get it as close to the original artwork for Ellie's logo as possible. So we're just getting all of those stop cuts sorted. Have I left myself enough space to get that one in the corner? I think so. So we go 1, 2, and this is where we're using combinations. So you're starting off on that scroll saw, get all of that work done initially on the scroll saw, and then afterwards you are proceeding across to using the skills together of the wood carving and the scroll sawing. Use them in conjunction. So whatever skills you've got, or whatever skills you're looking to develop, use them in combination. Use everything to the best of your own sort of advantage possible. There we are, so you can see we're just following. That's why I've got the other little wedge there, just to be able to follow those lines. Hopefully as well, when things like that happen, it does show you the reality of working in woods, that not every project we do is successful, and not everything goes without any problems. Strange thing is I seem to save my biggest, what do you call them, faux pas, is it? Is that the correct term? For doing my live streams, which is interesting, but I think we're going to change that one there just for a slightly larger size gouge. Excuse me. That's me just sniffing a bit. Right, and now this is the largest circle. So we go back to this size, and I think we got to do another 2 dots, another 2 more little pieces. That's it. We just got that one coming in like so. And then there we put one there, a little one there, so just like so. And then final one just in there. Right, so that marks out a lot of what we've got then for our wedge of pizza. We will also do all of the lines. So I'll carve out all of those lines as well around here, just to demonstrate how we just give that a little bit of extra definition. Now that we basically have marked out all of our stop cuts, we'll just use the gouge to just cut around the outside of each circle, just like so. It just gives us a little bit of extra definition, and just brings it out. And then when we shellac it, then see, it'll just hopefully add a little bit extra to that. Same again, same process for the smaller one. So just using that gouge. So that's the idea. That's why we call it a stop cut. is because that first stop cut down into the wood stops the second cut. So you can see, and we're just working a little bit across, a little bit cross grain. There we are. Just like so. And one thing I will do is to try and get the slicer pizza. Actually, no, I may not. I was going to say we try and get the slicer pizza flat with the plates, but realistically, the pizza is on top of the plate, isn't it? So it would be better if our piece of pizza was actually thicker than the plate. So now I'm going to go the reverse and make it sort of stand out more. So we just go around the outside. And this is one of the things that we sort of would encourage you, if you're interested in scroll sawing, build up your scroll sawing skills. And if you're, if you do have any interest in wood carving, if you can sort of combine those skills, it does give you then more, in a way, an advantage, because you have those two skills you can combine together, and that can make your projects, what you do, just a little bit more unique. We're just going to finish off all of the cuts on this pizza slice, just like so. And when it comes to, as I said, when we on being on one of these courses, very interesting. They were telling us all about good practice and how to do things well and the way things should be done. The conclusion I came to is I think I probably do everything wrong, but not to worry about that. It's nice being able to share the work that we do. It's nice being able to present what goes on here at our family workshop, and to hopefully give a few little ideas and a few thoughts that you can apply to your own woodwork to help you learn maybe something new, or learn something in a slightly different way to how you've done it before, or, as I've demonstrated, learn how to completely mess it up. But a big part of it, as I said, in terms of temperament, it is an important thing, is to be able to deal with, you are working with a natural material. It's like if you're working with, say, children or animals or whatever you're doing, it's not a sort of exact science. There's an element of risk. It's making assessments on the jobs that you're doing as well, because, as I said at the start, if I hadn't have been, well, to be honest, if I hadn't have been demonstrating it, then I'd have probably left a piece along the top. If it was a job somebody asked us to do, as opposed to something that we thought would be a nice thing to do, I would have done it differently. I would have basically charged more, and I would have made it with a top and bottom protecting the word. But I think that for live streams, I think cutting out text has proved to be my nemesis. I don't think I've ever done a live stream and managed to cut out the letters without breaking them. So, moral of the story is, if you're doing a live stream, stay away from letters. Let's have a look. The main thing, though, is when we produce the finished item, it'll be a nice, well, all going well, it'll be a nice finished product. So that's the main thing. Even though we know that it might not have gone quite to plan. Right, so there's our slice of pizza, fitting back in like so. As I said, we'll put a line of black super glue around it to add a little bit of definition. We put all of those lines on there as well. Now, to finish off, I'm going to go back across to the scroll saw. I'll go in reverse order, take the chair first, and I will demonstrate cutting out one of those butterflies. What we also try to do, I hope you can still hear me now, what we also try to do is to share ideas that proved successful here at our family workshop. And one, here we are, we got that just in like so. One video that I'm excited to make, I'm looking forward to making, and it'll be published sometime probably later this year, and that is sharing with you the top 5 projects and items in terms of selling them here at our family workshop. And so hopefully, you know, if you are interested in selling the items that you make, hopefully there'll be a few ideas that you can take from that, and it might give you a little bit of inspiration, and then we'll put the designs up, things like that. So to give you an idea, this one here, the fridge magnet, is definitely, and not just this one, a lot of different fridge magnets that we make, is definitely in our top 5 items that sell here at our family workshop. So that is one of the 5 that will be on the list. I mean, I'm not including in that our biggest, the biggest thing that we do in terms of sales would be Lovespoons. But that's because, you know, with the Lovespoon Workshop, that's what we've always done. What I'm going to do is to give you the 5 scroll saw items, the 5 scroll saw projects that we sell the most of. And one of the 5 is definitely a fridge magnet. As always, just to explain the process we're going to go through, we've done all of our piercework holes, we've sanded the bottom of the wood, and then we're going to do our piercework first of all and finish off cutting out the outline. So in total, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 piercework cuts, and then the cutting out of the surround. Now, one thing you notice with this, our top layer is a bit smaller. We've got a bigger bottom layer, which actually helps because it gives you a bit more wood to hold on to. I'm also going to move that one out of the way because it'll allow the wood to clear more easily. Another thing that sometimes happens is that because you're using a very fine drill bit, when you cut the line, I try to get them square on as possible. Sometimes they do just shift a little bit. Now, if that happens, it usually only affects the bottom of the 3 layers. So what I try to do then from there is to adapt it sometimes. So for instance, I may turn one of these into a heart just to cover up where that drill bit has shifted across a little bit. But it's usually only a problem on the bottom layer. So you can see, well on now with this particular design. Yeah, when it comes to stuff like this as well, of course, I've spent a lot more time designing this and sort of ironing out any problems, checking it. One thing with this, when I actually do the carving afterwards, I always make sure I use a clamp to carve these because it's wider at the top and the bottom. And I always find with butterflies, they're quite vulnerable to breaking. So they can snap quite easily. So I always make sure that I use a clamp as opposed to securing them in the vise. The other way you could avoid damaging them is to keep the block of wood and to actually use the block of wood to secure that in the vise as well. Right, so that finishes off our the pierce work on this little one, and then to finish off after we've done the pierce work, we will just cut around the surround. The beauty, as I said, of using stack cutting is I'm going to have three items to work from. As I mentioned, now on the bottom layer, for instance, that one there, that is just where I can just see the hole where I've done the pierce work. So I'll make that one larger and that one larger so nobody can see that pierce work hole. So let's cut this out and we'll have our 3 butterflies. a little bit of just tidying up that we can do afterwards. A little bit of work on that hole there just to make those a little bit bigger. Just separate these are a bit glued together. There we are, and that's 1, 2 and 3. I probably turn that one round when I actually go to carve it. Again, a little bit of just tidying up work to do, bit of sanding, a little bit of detail that we'll add with the carving, and another popular little gift item. Thank you for joining us. It was a case of triumph and disaster there today, but we got there. We managed to do a bit. Hopefully that's interesting. As always, we'll be back with our weekly upload, and we'll have our little YouTube short as well. So that's what will be coming up later in the week. Hope you all have a great week. As always as well, thank you for supporting our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. We really do appreciate it, and hopefully it is interesting and useful. Have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.